All right, guys, I've got 10 o'clock my time, which is when we're supposed to start this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If some folks are kind of piling in here late, all they'll do is kind of miss the introductions, so to speak. So I'd like to welcome everybody today to our State Officers Workshop. My name is J.J. Jones. I am the Southern Region Director. I hope everybody is warm or comfortable weather where you're at. I know here in Oklahoma, we're supposed to hit 70 today and then be down to below freezing by Wednesday. So I hope that y'all's weather is better than that. I know some of y'all on the East Coast, I mean, the national news is dominated by how y'all are buried in snow and stuff. So it's, I always think it's funny that how the national news these days is built, built around weather. Here in Oklahoma, we've lived around weather all our lives. So it's no big deal to us. So. But I hope everybody is comfortable. Again, if you've ever got questions or anything, about today, please just put them in the chat box, and we'll try to get to them. If we don't get to them today, we're going to tell you the people that you need to contact if you've got questions later on or after this is over with. And so if you need something a week or 2 weeks or a month, 2 months down the line, you'll know who to get a hold of. So the presenters for today, of course, are myself and then Teresa Steckler. She's the director of the North Central region. Melody Rose is my other director here in the Southern region. Brian Beer is the vice director for the Southern region. Beth Claypool, director for the Northeast region. Connie Strunk is our NACAA secretary. Keith Michler is the NACAA vice president. And then Phil Durst is the NACAA president-elect. And so with that, Teresa, we're going to go ahead and get started. What is today's purpose? Our purpose today is, I know I've been in all of y'all's shoes at some point in time. I've actually been in y'all's shoes in 2 different states. You're now, you're the president or vice president or maybe even secretary. You're a new state officer. You're wondering, okay, one, you're trying to figure out what to do just within your own state. And then on top of all that, the national, has certain duties that are required of you and stuff. And so we're going to kind of go over all those duties as a state president or state officer, what the national office, what we think or what we need from you and what what to do is. And so my first role is I'm going to talk a little bit about the executive director and the duties and stuff. And if you don't know Scott Hallbaker by now, that is a person that you probably need to get to know with. I don't think I underestimating the statement by saying that, Scott is the glue that kind of holds us together. Scott does, he attends all the board meetings. He's the keeper of the membership database, the person behind the website and getting all that done. He helps with the sponsorships, when you got to deal with sponsors and collecting the money from them. And I mean, just all the little minute details that many of us don't ever even think about or see. And he is just that person. And so if you have problems, like with your where to send your dues to, that's who you send them to. You send them to Scott Hallbaker. If you've got questions about the website, you send, you need to contact Scott because he's the keeper of the website. If you've got problems, the membership database, Scott's the one that you're going to visit with. So that's kind of his role. He's very important to us. Like I said, what it is for us directors, he's the person that we contact when we generally have questions and stuff. And so his duties, and I'm sure I've left out some of them that I'm forgetting about, but anybody that's on here that's dealt with Scott and dealt with this organization knows that we couldn't do it without him. And so, but the one thing about it is who to contact when, do you contact the executive director or the regional director or the president? And so again, I've kind of mentioned a few things that you should contact with him. But now if you've got some, some other just general questions about awards, about the scholarship program, we're going to talk about those. Anything that's kind of deal with just the AMPIC, different things like that, you probably should contact your regional director. first, and let us, because generally we know the answer to a bulk of those questions. If we don't know, then we'll figure it out for you. So if you've got questions like that, it's always good to contact us, and then we'll kind of, again, run it up the flagpole if we don't know the answer. But again, Scott's very, very busy, and so we can answer a lot of those questions. Just go ahead and call us. The last thing I'm going to talk a little bit about is we have two conferences besides the AMPIC that we're kind of associated with. Shouldn't use the word kind of, we are associated with, and that is the JSEP conference. It's coming up here in about a week or so. We're in Kansas City, and again, that's a conference. As a state officer, state president, it's kind of dependent on your own state as to who they send. But I don't want to use the term expected, but so you are kind of expected to kind of show up to maybe that JSEP leadership conference. It is a good opportunity. I've been to this several different times, not only as a regional director, but also as a state member, as a state president, and at different times. It is a good conference to go to where you can learn things up. And like I said, they are moving that around. It was in San Antonio this year, in Kansas City, I think, for 2 more years, and then I think it moved somewhere else after that. But that's always in February, and as a state president, you should be aware of those dates and try to make plans to attend. The other conference that we do is called PILD, or PILD conference. It's always in Washington, D.C., except for the last couple of years where we did it virtually, of course. But this conference it's really deals with public issues and then also dealing with your legislators, not only on the state level but on the national level. And it gives you an opportunity to visit with those national congressmen and your legislators on the national level. So it's always in April, around the first week of April. And again, expect is maybe too strong of a word, but again, you kind of are, we'd like to see you attend whenever possible. But again, that's up to your own state and how that goes. And so, what time of the day is the NAC meeting at JSEP? Let's see here. The NACA part of the meeting is that afternoon, I believe, of the first day, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I'm pretty sure. I could pull my calendar up here and see, but I believe it's at the 9th. That afternoon of the 9th is when the NACA meeting part at JSEP is. So, okay. Are there any questions about that? About what I've talked to you? All right. Next up, I believe it's Teresa, correct? Is Teresa here?
Are you going to go through the duties of the state officers real quick?
I didn't think that was my job, but it is. Sorry. That wasn't much. Never mind. Sorry. Responsibility. See, it's what it pays to do stuff. All right. So, duties of the state officer. I'm sorry. So, what is your job as the president, the secretary? So, and these are pretty important jobs, guys. And I can tell you that because I've been on these committees. Been the national chair, vice chair. I've been program council. I mean the council chair. And so as the role of the president and secretary, it's your job to keep the national up to date on your officer team, your committee chairs, and your membership. And then also to send in your membership dues. And so why is it important? Well, if this is all done electronically, we're welcome to the new age of doing electronics. So when we do all this and one of your members wants to apply for an award and you haven't updated your committee chair list, it automatically defaults to the state president. And when it defaults to the state president, then that state president cannot okay any award applications. And so that member then is basically it's not ineligible, but is not able to get his award past the state level, then for not eligible for any national. So by keeping that date up the list, you are allowing your members to apply for, I mean, it goes all the way from AA, DSAs, any type of award that the association gives out, that, you know, has to be approved by your committee chair. Now, that may be your state president, but this national office needs to know who that person is, and we need to have that in on our website, because again, it all funnels through that. And then again, it does, you know, it's up to you whether you're president. I know each state, I've done it, worked in 2 different states, and each state does it a little differently, but the president and secretary have to have that done, get that done. And they're the 2 people that will have the rights to make those changes on the website. And again, if you have issues with that, that's who you contact, Scott Hallbaker, and you get that fixed. And then also, I will tell you, the dues, you know, I'm just as bad as everybody else. I want to pay the dues at the last minute, but if you don't get your dues in on time, again, you could then, your members may not be eligible for any awards. The dues are due January 1, but they're but the last drop dead date, I believe, if I'm correct, is February. It's either 1 or 15th. So you need to have those dues in no later than February 1, or you could cause your membership not to be eligible for any of those awards. So anyway, that's kind of the important, and keeping that membership information up to date as well. So I believe it's February 15th. I think it is right too, Kim. I was thinking it was February 15th. So, all right. Now it is Teresa's turn to go on with this. So.
Thank you, JJ. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a balmy 22 degrees in Southern Illinois, but we're supposed to get up to 45. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting outside and getting a little sun this afternoon. I want to talk about the scholarship program and how this is actually a really great program for all members that have been vested in the system. And currently the vestment is $40. And that will allow you to have up to $1,500 available for professional development. And that professional development can be going to another meeting, going on a tour, taking some kind of class. So you would fill out an application and send it into the scholarship committee. The application's on the website. And once they will review the application and proceed from there. So there is another option. You can vest into $100 or make an additional $60 contribution, and that will give you up to $3,000 in the scholarship fund. However, keep in mind you can only use $1,500 a year for if you're doing a single for yourself. If you're wanting to go as a group, I know Illinois had a group of 7 or 8 that went to not Jamaica, one of the islands down in that area, and they had Puerto Rico. They had a great tour. They learned a lot, and they did it as a group application. Keep in mind, though, as of the end of the 2022 AMPIC, or in Florida this year, the vestment amount will increase from $40 to $100. And also, if you want to invest to the additional 3,000 or above the original amount, that will be an additional $100. So sorry, I jumbled that up. So you're going from 40 to 100 and from 60 to 200 for the different vestments of the scholarship fund. So keep in mind, again, this is a great opportunity to have some additional have some additional money to go on a trip, to go on a tour, something for your professional development in your area of expertise. And keep in mind of the deadline before is always at the AMPIC, the last day of the AMPIC. So this year is even more critical because of the increase in investment dollars. And with that, if there are any questions, I'll be happy, type them in, I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm going to move on to Miss Melody Rose of the Southern Region.
Thanks, Teresa. Like Teresa said, my name's Melody Rose. I'm in Tennessee. I work for the University of Tennessee and alongside JJ serve as Southern Region Director. So just real quick, I want to point out a few things about policies and bylaws. And I don't want to steal Connie's thunder because she's going to be introducing the new website here in just a few moments. But I do want to tell you, if you've not had the opportunity to check out the new website, you really need to do that because it is much more streamlined. It's much easier to read. And we owe a lot to Scott Hallbaker and the team for getting that out this past year. But as far as policies and bylaws, we know that's a huge document, but that is our guiding document for NACAA. When you log into the new website and it pops up your dashboard, you will see policies and bylaws directly to the right of your name. It's there for pretty easy access. So if you're like me, a good way to do that is to just download that as a PDF. Keep that close at hand on your desktop. I've even got a printed version. A lot of the things that we're talking about today can be found embedded within the policies and bylaws. JJ kind of hit on membership dues and voting delegates, but just to kind of refresh that, he was correct. January 1 is the deadline for those membership dues from state associations to Scott Hallbaker. So you do have until February 15th. And like he said, that's a really important date because that's kind of what determines the amount of voting delegates. So if you've ever sat in on a voting delegate session at an AMPIC, then you probably notice a lot of the states have a different amount of voting delegates. And the reason for that is for the first 40 members within that state, you get one voting delegate. And then for every 30 members thereafter is another voting delegate. So it just totally depends on your state association's membership number. And that is $50 per member that does go to Scott Hallbaker. So make sure that if you haven't already done that as a state association to get those dues in by February 15th, because like JJ said, drop dead deadline, and we don't want to drive Scott Hallbaker any crazier than he already is. And we just don't have a lot of leeway after that February 15th deadline. In regard to state visits, we all know with COVID in the last 2 years, we've pretty well kept to a digital platform, kind of like we're doing here today. But we know last fall that some states started meeting in person. I myself went to Mississippi, had a great time down there with their association last August. But this is a really important time to be able to connect, we as directors, with your state associations. What we need from you is just communication when those meetings are going to take place. So as you're planning for those state association meetings, I know here in Tennessee, ours is coming up in April. Just reach out to your regional director. Here in the South, of course, we have two, either JJ or myself, but reach out to your regional director, make sure that they know when that meeting is going to take place so they can get it on their calendar. We'd prefer you not do it a week or even a month in advance. Try to get that way in advance so we can plan for that as well. The purpose of these is just to come and interact with you on your own turf. We bring greetings and updates from the NACAA board, but we want to be there to interact with you again on your home turf, be able to answer any questions, concerns. If you have any ideas, be able to chat about those face to face. And plus, you know, it's a great opportunity just to network and be able to see what's going on in your state associations and take that back to the board. It just opens up those channels of communication and keeps everything pretty well going in line. So again, make sure you reach out to your regional director so they can get those on the calendars. And if you have any questions, make sure put those in the chat box and we'll make sure to get those answered and sent out to everyone at the conclusion of today's meeting. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to our Southern Region Vice Director, Mr. Brian Beer, who comes to us from Clemson University.
All right, thank you, Melody. I appreciate that. We'll discuss a little bit about some of the awards that are available to the membership. Start out with our Distinguished Service Award and Achievement Awards. Again, two of our probably most highly anticipated awards that this association gives. Those awards are due on January the 15th. How your state selects the DSA and AA recipients is up to your state, but whatever that selection process is, you'll need to have that completed so that the award recipient has time to get the national application completed by January 15th and turned in by then. The number of these awards that each state has does vary, and again, it's based on that membership. And on these awards, it's based on the membership as of February 15th of the previous year. So the numbers that National has on the books here in 16 days is going to determine the number of DSAs and AAs that you have available to your state next year. So keep that in mind. And again, that's the importance of getting all of this information turned into nationals in a timely manner. The Achievement Award is for members with less than 10 years of work experience in cooperative extension. And the DSA Award is for those that have 10 years or more of work experience. And that work experience is determined as of March 15th of the current year, the year you're applying. And again, those things are due on January 15th, and it does use the website as an application process. All of these awards I'm going to discuss today are applied. They're all online applications. So if I neglect to say that about any of them, that's where they are. Hall of Fame Award is also due January the 15th. That's an award we give to one recipient from each region, and those nominations do come from the state recognitions and award chair. Again, this is a kind of a lifetime achievement award, but any current or life member of NACAA is eligible as long as they have received the DSA award in the past. And a lot of the criteria for this is going to be based on commitment, dedication, and leadership and job performance as an outstanding extension educator, association involvement at the state and national levels, and leadership and humanitarian activities outside of extension. So if your state has somebody that would be eligible for this award, like I say, those nominations start at the state level. So may not be something you submit for every year, but if you have somebody, consider putting them in for the Hall of Fame Award. Service to World and U.S. Agriculture Award is given to somebody who has made contributions to U.S. and world agriculture and is recognized by their peers as having done so. This nomination comes from the states in the specific regions, and the region that is eligible for nominating in a particular year will be listed in the December edition of the County Agent magazine. And that rotation usually follows the annual meeting rotation. So what region the annual meeting is in is generally the region that will be nominating for this award. So, and this one is due March 15th, which is the customary date for a lot of our awards. Getting into some of the awards that our members are eligible for, and are what we're more familiar with as members. The biggest one, of course, is the Communication Awards, most popular one as far as applications submitted. Look at the website, look at the December issue of the County Agent magazine for the details on this. But there's 13 categories that are open to members. Biggest thing is the materials submitted must be first used by the member between March 15th of the year prior and March 15th of the award year. And again, all of the instructions and criteria and specific category descriptions are listed on the webpage and in that December issue of the County Agent magazine. Those are also due March 15th. Moving on to Search of Excellence, there's 8 categories in Search for Excellence: 4-H and youth, crop production, forestry and natural resources, consumer, commercial horticulture, farm and ranch business management, livestock production, young, beginning, or small farmers and ranchers, and sustainable agriculture. These awards seek to highlight a program or a series of activities that have have taken place over the past 3 years. So it's a little more of some of those long-term projects that a lot of what we do in extension involve multiple years to get to good accomplishments. So Search for Excellence is a good place to apply for those. Those are due March 15th. And this is one of those, again, the Communication Awards and the Search for Excellence also have some cash awards attached to those. And so you're eligible for that if you end up winning at the national level. Agriculture Awareness and Appreciation Award, this is an award for an individual member or a group of members that put on a public relations effort that improved understanding for agriculture in their community. And the criteria and the scoring criteria for that award is also on the website and in the December issue of the County Agent, and also due March 15th. One last award I want to touch on. This is the Dan Kleczynski Memorial Scholarship Award. This is a brand new award for this year. And this award is dedicated to the memory of Dan Kleczynski from Rutgers University, New Jersey. And it was set up to encourage early career development. And this award will offer 2 $500 scholarships that will be available each year. One of the awards will be selected for a participant or an applicant from the Northeast region, and one from the other regions. And the applicant should have 10 years or less of extension service at the time of the application. And these scholarships must be used for attending a professional development event or conference. And the preference, it says on the information there on the website and in the December issue, that preference will be given to NACAA events such as the AMPIC, PILD, and JSEP. And that training must occur within 12 months of the award notification. And the application for these are due March 15th, like our other awards. And the recipients will be notified by June 1st. So that timing works well if someone wants to apply and use it for the AMPIC that's happening that same year. As long as it happens after June 1, it could be applied to that, or it could be applied to another conference that's coming up. But that's wanted to bring that one to your attention as a new award that that just came about this year. And again, all that information on all these awards are on the website and in the December issue of the County Agent. If you have specific questions, a lot of the answers will be found in those 2 places. That's all I have on the awards. See, Beth, I guess, is up next. Talk about life members.
Hey, folks. Yeah, Melody put up earlier in the chat the state officer handbook, and a lot of this information that we're providing can either be found there or on the website somewhere, which I'm sure Connie will go over. But we just wanted to mention a little bit about the life members and also the state life member committees, because that's really how we're going to keep life members engaged over the long haul. So the state chair, if you have, and I know maybe not all states have them, but I would encourage you to do that the state chairs then would also feed into the national committee. The national committee chair right now is Paul Craig, and there's a director from each of the regions on that committee that are all elected at AMPIC. So it's an important committee, and we want to keep the people who have been engaged in cooperative extension over the long haul to still be engaged and use as mentors and just reaching out to them and seeing how we can better ourselves. So the state chairs and the state life member committees really are the responsibilities are to develop a plan for the scholarship program and submit funds to the state scholarship committee chair, encourage life members to attend the state and national meetings, and even have your life members engaged in some committees as well, and develop programs that are unique to your state and will enhance cooperative extension and the current and former county agents. The other thing that we need you to do is really maintain the addresses as people retire and move. We still want to keep them engaged. And for many life members that move actually throughout the year, spend part of their year in the Sunbelt area, those individuals are also even encouraged to contact the state life membership committee where they're headed to, and maybe even determine any activities that might be available locally there where you maybe temporarily live for part of the year. So please reach out to the national committee if you're interested in learning more, and please read. It's on page 46 through 48 in the state chapter handbook. If you have any questions, just let me know. I did want to ask if anybody has activities, if you could put your name in the chat box. If people have an active life member committee, please indicate so in the chat box so that people can go through and say, hey, you know, Marilyn, you have a great life member program and I'd like to learn more. So those who do have active life member committees, please put that in the chat box so people can refer back to you and ask you questions if they have any. All righty, and the next one that we are looking forward to, because we keep referring to it, is Connie. Connie will be showing us the website. So Connie, I'm going to start sharing so you can share your screen.
Thank you. Just give me a moment to find it. All right. Hopefully you all can see the website. Our address has remained the same, so we're still at NACAA.com. With that, as you kind of notice, if you haven't already been to our website, video kind of rolling through different agriculture. We got some more of a clean, fresh look to the website. As you look across the top, you're going to see some tabs. You can click on them for more information as to what's going to be offered underneath each of those tabs. But we'll go back to the tabs here in a second. As you scroll down through the website, so it makes it more of that mobile friendly nature, you will see our news and then any upcoming events that you're able to click on for more information. As you continue the scroll down, you'll kind of notice our sponsors scrolling across the bottom, which is what we had before, but this is a bit bigger and more notice given to those individuals. As we continue to scroll down to the website, there was a question about how can we donate, or how do we donate to the educational foundation or scholarship. We have it right here on the homepage under the donate now, so you're able to click that. As we continue to scroll down, you'll see contact information of our executive director, and you'll notice that there's a little window for job openings. That is something that NACA has set up. Yes, it's revenue for us, but helps get hopefully interested individuals hired through it within the extension service. So anyhow, we'll make our way back up to the top. The nice thing is we don't have to scroll all the way to the top to get there. If you ever click on something that needs to be logged in, such as communications awards. So if you underneath our awards and applications, if you go communication award, it's going to have a little bit of information that it says here, like some frequently asked questions, your award application. But if you're going to enter in anything, you will notice, just like our old system, that it requires you to log into the system. So this would be a great time if you have not already received or reset your username or password or reset your account. It's a time to do that. I know for myself, within our new website here, or the rebranded website, I have to use my email address to do that, even though I was one of those folks in the old website that did not use my email address as my username. So if you're having problems logging in, you'll need to contact Scott Habaker, unfortunately, to have that help. That's something that I'm not able to help with the reset, but your username and password allow you into most aspects of the website here. There's a few things that have slightly changed, meaning as you guys have started to do the dues payments, it's not everyone can go in there and pay the dues. Only those that have received the permissions are allowed that opportunity to do that. And there have been a few with any new website or new design, working through some interesting opportunities or things that we hadn't perceived, or the communication was kind of lost a little bit in translation from the switch from the old to the new. But Scott and those on the board here were keeping track of that, and we will address as many of those issues and changes as need be to try to ensure that it's a seamless transition. But anyhow, as you're looking within that website, if you, as we've heard a little bit about that state officer's handbook, you know, there's some things that you do not have to be logged into to see on the website. The state officer's handbook is one of them. So it allows us to click on the link, gives you the opportunity to download it either as in Word or PDF. You know, so there's some aspects there that we don't need to be logged in for, which helps with the, as we're looking at the underneath the leadership and contacts, one of the things, like the old system, we were able to do, make an email database. We're able to still do that same thing here with the new website. But again, it's going to require a log in to get into that aspect. So I'll log in here briefly. Hopefully there's not too much of a lag. As we look at the database, there's stuff on the left-hand side. So it's not all going to be right at the top. You may have to scroll down a little bit to find what you're looking for. So let's just click leadership email lists, and then it will populate in Excel. So there's some things that are going to be Excel driven, such as the leadership. All right. As you notice on here, you know, I just did the general look for the national officers. So you're going to have the executive committee up at the top of, so that'd be our NACAA board. Then we have our regional directors, so on and so forth. But there's other ways that we can do this. So let me get back out of there. Let's say we want to look up state presidents, or one of my favorite features, you know, so we have a list of state presidents. If your state is not represented on the website, it means the state has not updated the website with that information. And I know that's been addressed earlier today, so we're not going to, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but there are some tips and tricks and things that we on the board utilize, and even the committees are able to do. Anyhow, I'm not sure how much or what you want to address on the board, on the website. Just know that we do have a new look, and it's going to take a little bit of working through some of the little challenges that we have. But anyhow, I know I'm having a little bit of an issue saying that my audio is not working so well. So I'm going to stop there, stop my share. If there's questions or things that we'd like to look at, we certainly can do that. We can pull that back up with the Q&A, but just know that the new website, again, it was a big investment, but it's going to be good for us in the long run.
Connie, we have a question. Why are the states not clickable there?
Oh, if the states are not clickable, for example, South Dakota is one that's not clickable. We do not have an affiliated website for more information about that state, or it's like a broken link, and we weren't able to transfer that over. Good question on that. So if you have any other questions, you know, drop them in the chat, and we can certainly get that addressed at the end.
Any other questions?
Well, I see one in the chat about updating state committee chairs. At this point, you're going to have to send that information to Scott Habaker. The ability for individual states or people is not set up to allow the updating of those committee chairs, but good question.
Okay, thank you, Connie. And our next presenter today is Keith on the committee structure.
Good morning and greetings from the not so frozen state of Georgia. Currently, as we speak of this day, but when it got down to 20 the other morning, or 19 with a wind chill factor of 8, I think that was in comparison or competition with Phil Durst for a cold day. So we're going to talk about committee structure, and the way committee structure works is starts off with your council chairs, and there are 3 council chairs or 3 councils. That's Extension Development Council, your Professional Improvement Council, and your Program Recognition Council. And those are 3-year terms that people serve in. And under each council, there are committees. And Bill, can you hear me okay? Just want to make sure. Good. And under each council are committees. And under Program Recognition Council, there are 6 committees under Program Recognition Council, which is currently chaired by David Marison. And bear with me, I've had a cough since before Christmas. So under Program Recognition Council, we have communications, we have professional excellence, public relations, recognition and awards, scholarship, and search for excellence. Under the Extension Development Council, which is chaired by Scott Jensen, we have 4 committees. We have agricultural issues, early career development, leadership and admin skills in teaching and educational technologies. And under the Professional Improvement Council, chaired by Sherry Baden Sullivan, we have 4-H and youth, ag, econ, and community development, agronomy, pest management, animal science, horticulture, turf grass, natural resources, aquaculture, sea grant, and sustainable ag. And under each committee, there are national chairs. And under each national chair, there are regional vice chairs. And under those are state chairs. And basically, that is how your committee structure is laid out, from state chair to your national committee chairs and their vice chairs to your council chairs. And currently, we are that leadership process is open. And there are a lot of positions open. And we're going to get into recruiting quality members. And by recruiting quality members for leadership roles, that starts at the state level. So as a state president, state officer, the NACAA is relying on you to let your members know that they need to apply for positions, that there's plenty of leadership positions open. As the vice president and also with our council chairs, we're not in the business of recruiting. That's you. As a state officer, you need to recruit your membership to apply. And I encourage you to seek those that don't seem to be involved very much. Try to get them involved and apply for a vice chair position. Bear with me for a second, folks. And I'm going to, Melanie, I think I'm going to share my screen, I think. It says I cannot share your screen while participating with others.
You should be able to share your screen now, Keith.
Hopefully you all are seeing what I'm seeing, the We Need You. And in the current edition of the County Agent magazine, we worked diligently to get this moved. If you take the County Agent magazine and look at the front cover, you open it up, inside front cover, left side, We Need You. And it lists committee positions open, starting with council chair, program recognition council chair. Then it goes down to national chairs. And then it goes into Extension Development Council, what positions are open there, Professional Improvement Council, and then Program Recognition Council. We hope by moving this to the front, to the inside front cover, that this becomes prominent and not in the back of the magazine, that you'll see these and apply for the positions. Please, I beg you to please ask your membership, your members, if you know someone, go recruit them, ask them to apply. And what'll happen is the deadline is March the 15th. The council chairs and along with myself, we will go over all the applications that we have and start making decisions. And what'll happen is if there's still positions that are open, I will reach out to the regional directors. So like Melanie and JJ and Kurt and other ones and Beth and Teresa, we reach out to you to start going to your state presidents and finding folks to apply. Even though the deadline is going to come and go, it is March 15th. We still take applications afterwards if there's positions open. And we also try to take folks, if someone has applied for a position and multiple people have applied, we try to find them some place to go, some committee to be on. So work with us and help us fill these positions. And JJ, I'm glad you coordinated your wardrobe with me today.
Yeah, I'm glad we worked together.
I was waiting for Burdine to pick up on that, or probably Phil will pick up on that. And I'll be glad to answer questions when we get to the question and answer session. And that's it.
Keith, can you tell them that they're also the monetary benefit of being vice chair and national chair is and council chair?
Oh, you want me to talk about the monetary benefit? So the
As a good
monetary
economist.
benefit is if you are a vice chair for a committee, your registration is covered. If you are a national chair for a committee, your registration along with all your meeting expenses are covered to an extent of what Dr. Burdine and the policy manual cover. And as a council chair, your same thing as a national chair, your meeting expenses are covered. So I got it, JJ? Thank you, sir. And I guess turn it over to Phil Durst, our
You have a question from Adrian. Do you have to be a state chair to run for the committee chair?
No. You do not have to be a state chair first. I'm sorry, I did not see that.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I really am pleased with the turnout for this. And, you know, we often talk about the committees being the backbone for our association, but I also want to recognize the role that state associations are just so critical in making NACAA work. You people in leadership in your state association are absolutely the foundation for our national association. So thank you for your work. Thank you for getting your members involved. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for your leadership. So here's the question that I was asked to address. Can my state host an AMPIC? Answer, yes. Okay, we're done. But I will go on and say a few more things about that. So you didn't think I'd stop there. So in my experience, it is both a privilege and a responsibility to host our national association in an AMPIC. Let me just give you a little bit of my experience. I attended my first AMPIC, though it wasn't called that back then, in 1989, New Brunswick, New Jersey. I have attended all 33 since. I was an executive vice chair for the 1997 meeting in Burlington, Vermont, when I was working at Extension in Pennsylvania. I was a chair of the meeting in the 2007 meeting in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm currently working with a great crew of Iowa agents as they plan the 2023 meeting in Des Moines, Iowa. It is terrific to be involved in the national meeting. Let me just remind you of, first of all, that the NACAA handbook for our annual meeting, we have a handbook, and I'm sure Melody will put that link in the chat because she's doing such a great job with that. Thank you, Melody, for linking things. There is the member handbook for hosting an annual meeting, and you'll see in that the schedule of regions to bid for the annual meeting. You bid for a meeting 4 years in advance of the AMPIC. And we currently need a state to bid for the open year of 2022. For the open year of 2022, that is to bid to host the 2026 AMPIC. So let me just run down the schedule first of all. This year at West Palm Beach is an open year for bidding. That is, that any state in the country can bid to host the meeting in 2026. It's open to anybody. In 2023, we would receive a bid from a state in the North Central region to bid to host in 2027, 4 years later. In 2024, we're looking for a bid from Southern region states. In 2025, back to the Northeast region states, and 2026 is an open year again. So that just gives you the countdown on that. And you can see that we have an open year that pops up every 5th year in that rotation, but also each region is represented. If your state is interested, and I don't mean that you've got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed and you're finally saying that we have everything planned. If your state is in the process of saying, should we think about hosting an annual meeting, talk to your regional director. Your regional directors are great sources of information for you, and they can really help you and talk with you about what it means to host the annual meeting. So your regional directors are on this call today for the most part, and I would encourage you to talk with your regional director. And then understand also that we as an association have contracted with Helms Briscoe, who negotiate contracts. So that burden is not on you. That's a part of how we as a national association can help states as they think about hosting the region. And then it's going to be planning a campaign to win the hearts for your state and your choice of site. We want to be, our members want to be not only just invited, but they want to be, if you want to say, wooed to why they should come to your state, to your location. Well, why do it? I think that we could list benefits of doing it all day long, but let me just list these benefits to do it. First of all, it's about the cohesion of the members of your state association. You draw together like nothing else will draw you together when you really are working together for a common goal. And that goal is, of course, to host your state in the best way possible and to be of service to our members nationally, to put on a great professional improvement conference for our members. It also engenders support of your administration. You can't do this without your administration support. And your administration will jump in and support you. I believe that they will jump in and support you in this, and it will make an impact on your administration. It can also leave you with a financial nest egg for professional development in your own state. So we'll talk about finances, but as you raise money to host this, you're raising money not just to host a national meeting, a national professional improvement conference in that year, but you're raising money for professional improvement, that the excess money that you raise, anything that's not spent, can be used for the professional development of your members. And some states have really developed a nice nest egg from that benefits their members' professional improvement opportunities for years to come. It also is about state pride. Each of you is proud of your state. Each of you believes that you have a great place to come. Each of you believes that your state has so many things to offer. And really, it is a great opportunity to showcase that. And then finally, why do it? Because maybe it's your turn. And I think that's an important reason to consider, because there's a responsibility, I believe, that we have to support one another in this association. And that even means to host national meetings. Now, let me address some things that people may say as objections. They may say, well, we're too small. We have too few members. We can't do it. I think that's the crux of the issue for many states. And I know that we have many on the call today that are from small member states. Okay. Here's the things that I want to address. First, you're only too small if you don't work with others. Who are the others? First of all of your members. It really takes everybody. It takes all hands on deck to do this. Work with other states. I told you that when I was in Pennsylvania, that I was part of the exec committee for the Burlington, Vermont meeting. The Northeast region has been working together as a region to host a national meeting for years. Just when we didn't have the meeting in Philadelphia, it was still the Northeast region was working together to host that meeting and had responsibilities divvied out clear across the region. Kudos to the Northeast region for that. Other regions, other areas may do that as well too. Another group of people to involve is retired members. Of course, Beth Claypool talked to you about involving your retired members, but when you host an AMPIC, you want to get retired members involved because, well, they may have time that you don't have, and they want to showcase their state as well. So get retirees involved. The other extension professionals in your state, whether it's the 4-H agents or whatever those other groups are called in your state, get them involved. Have them help you do part of things that you can get them to contribute to. Your administration, get them involved more than just in saying, yes, you can do it, more than just saying, here's money, but get them involved in the work of it. Of course, your families are part of it too. We pride ourselves as an organization of being a family-oriented organization. Well, we know that our families often get involved in our work. And this is one way to get your families involved in work that's fun for everybody. And then lastly, get your clientele involved. We've seen Master Gardener volunteers involved in hosting the AMPIC as well. And there may be other groups that are involved. So you're only too small if you don't work with others. You may say it's not the right time, but none of us know the future. You're bidding 4 years out. Extension is always changing. Administrators change. They come and thankfully sometimes they go. And there's always cutbacks in extension. And rarely is extension expanding, although it occurs sometimes, and we're thankful for that. So a case can be made that when times are tough, that this is exactly what you need to do to support extension in your state. You may say that you can't raise that kind of money. And I would say can be a lot of money, but maybe it's not as much as you are afraid it is. And I want you to know that the National Board is willing to work with you on adapting the national meeting to what a state can actually do and what a state can host. And so think about the fact that your National Board is flexible and wants to work with you. And then I would say also that you can't raise the money at the last minute. You've got to start, you've got to get involved with it. And the last thing I would say is that people would say, well, I'm too busy already. And most good extension agents and educators are already too busy. But if you honestly appraise things, you would say you've taken on things before when you didn't have time and somehow you managed it. And you did it because it was a good reason, because it was an important, good thing to do. And I would just encourage you that this is a great thing to do, to host a national meeting. And I look forward to talking with you more about that if you have questions, but also that I want you to talk to the regional directors about that. Well, I think we're about at the end of my time, and I want to thank Keith for allowing me a few extra minutes to do that. So thank you all. And I just thank you everybody for being a part of this today.
All right, appreciate that, Phil. We got some time for some questions. I know there's been some questions come up in the chat box that some of them have been answered, but I don't know, Melody, if you think we should probably maybe re-answer them live or not.
I've got the transcript. So what I'll do is send you all a video link of today's meeting along with all the chat Q&A. I'll synthesize that down to where it's just those questions and how we answered them. And if we didn't get those answered, don't worry. We'll go back in and plug those answers before I send those to you. But hopefully by this afternoon, you should have all that information available. The last thing I put in there was the regional director's newsletter. We are revamping that for this year. You should have seen the winter edition come out. So keep an eye out for that each quarter because your directors will be pushing out information that will be relevant and pertinent to the task at hand.
So, like I said, she's gonna answer all the questions in the chat box that that we didn't get answered. I think most of them did. Is there anybody else got any other questions that they just thought of, or wanted to? Maybe you're like me, don't like to type that much and want to ask in real life. Anything else? Anybody want to know? Again, if you think of something this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, we're not very hard to track down, Melody. I believe everybody seems to be able to find us. I was taking phone calls last week when I was in Vegas. So it's...
This is Beth. I just noticed no one put anything in the chat box about their state life member committee. So if y'all have any good things that you do at your state level, you can email me directly and I will get that out to everybody. And hopefully we can maybe put that in our next regional director newsletter. So please don't be shy about sharing the good work that you're doing with your life members. That'd be really helpful to everybody.
So any other questions? Anything anybody want to know? Now's your opportunity to throw stuff at Keith.